we all wear so many hats at the same time. Right. So that's been, we have an eager candidate for that. We just haven't figured out how to make the schedule work.
So your guys' job description for athletic director has certain qualifications and then other scheduling things that we're supposed to allow that person to do. So that's why I think it's well, and they need time to actually do their meetings.
Money is the negotiation or time?
It's time. I would say we worked really hard to try to sync schedules so that things are some possibilities on the table, but we haven't found that fit yet.
Is there any other roadblocks that you're finding besides time?
Yes. Okay.
Say that again a little louder, please.
I'm sorry, Bob. We have coaches who would love to be AD, but they won't give up coaching. But that's no fun.
So we have a motion on the table to open the high school principal. Is there any discussion or further discussion?
I'll have just one thing, so we'll advertise this high school principal with the possibility of AD.
Additional duties may include.
Additional, yeah, if it's a good fit, that kind of language.
Yeah.
But we'll go with a district.
Correct.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is hire a bus driver.
Fortunately, we always do more bus drivers, but we need more subs. TJ Posnick, DJ. I recommend that for his hire as bus driver. I will motion to extend TJ Posnick as bus driver.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to add DJ Prosnick as a bus driver. Is there any discussion?
Went through hell to get it. He got it. I was the best friend on his boss.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same signs. Motion carries. Next is an addition to the substitute list.
I recommend the hiring of Chris Bledsoe as a substitute teacher. So moved. I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to add Chris Bledsoe as a substitute. Is there any discussion? Discussion, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is out of district agreements.
I'll pass these around. There's a stack of them. I have a fourth grader, a seventh grader, another fourth grader, and a sixth grader from going to Avon, living here. I have a seventh grader going to Drummond, living here. A third grader, a fifth grader, another fifth grader going to Garrison, and then a sixth grader going to Lincoln. They've been there this whole year. So
This for 25-26.
this is 25-26. They just did not get the agreement until the 12th.
Any transportation attached to it?
No, if it's marked on there, it's incorrectly marked. But I don't believe any of them have marked.
Coming in now just because
The clerk just didn't get it to us until now.
Doesn't seem to be anything you can do about it anyway. There's nothing we can do about that anyway, even if we have a date, set time that we have to stop. Like you guys are even let us.
No, and I double checked with Sophia on that. She said it doesn't matter. We still have to pay no matter what.
Thank you.
I think we're gonna need to go into executive session to discuss two of these. So it's time we're gonna have to clear the room.
I don't think they want to see that, Aaron.
Sorry. Okay, we'll come back into session. I guess.
They're working their way.
I didn't know what we do. I was thinking. My mind was deep in thought.
I'll wait till Rex is back. Coming back to me. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
All of them are just.
All of it. I think the most. We can do it all in one, right? Okay.
I pulled the two out, so they're not.
Okay. We'll wait for Rex and call back into order.
They're real late.
Yeah, they say they know better. Leanne will email her tomorrow.
Well, we're back in session. Is there a motion on the out of district agreement? Well, I guess I probably have to sign them, but
Yeah. I'm gonna take stuff out of the district agreement. Second,
without two.
without two. Oh, yeah, without two seconds.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the out of district agreements without two that were presented. Is there any discussion? Discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is set the elementary building reserve levy amount.
Okay, so as you all know, our elementary building reserve levy, this was our last year on it. If you guys want to run another one, you can run the same one that we have had, which is a $375,000 levy spread over 5 years for $75,000 per year. The same levy that we passed the last few times. Or you guys can discuss it and decide something different.
Their pleasure for
I want to have a discussion about it, so I'll, go ahead and make a motion to set an elementary building reserve levy amount.
Second.
Then moved and seconded to set an elementary reserve amount.
Tell me exactly what that entails, what does that cover?
So the building reserve, Tara, you probably,
Building reserve pays for major maintenance of the school district. So when we have boiler work, it doesn't come out of our general fund, it comes out of our building reserve. If we don't have that building reserve to pay for all the building problems we have to find somewhere else for it. And it's really hard to find somewhere else when we have a core control bill for 30,000 to find it somewhere else. Or when we have to fix the high school atrium for 50,000, finding that somewhere else. And building reserve is key in trying to get back to where we can put maintenance back in these buildings and not run into a situation where we haven't kept up on the building for so many years, and then we're asking for a bond. That's why a building reserve is key. That's the only place where we really have money for major maintenance.
I know in the,
Leave this so we don't do it.
and I know in the past, the elementary district had used building reserve money and remodeled. Redone the bottle, remodeled the bathrooms in the Odie Spear building.
Yeah.
Quite a little sidewalk over.
We've done bathrooms, we've done sidewalks, big projects like that, the fence, the football field, we did in building reserve.
Rainforest down the hallway.
Any boilers that we've purchased, yeah. That's about
There's
it.
some building, yeah.
So if you run the same building reserve fund in 5 years, costs went up tremendously. I understand the problem running a bigger one, but I also understand the problem of costs continuing to rise. So do we just, by not being proactive on this, do we end up kicking the can down the road that's gonna come back to haunt us? Just a question, just looking for an input.
I think one of the largest concerns that I've heard for, one of our relations that are coming through with the bond was, you know, are we going to be taking care of this? Are we going to be maintaining this if we go through on the bond, if we vote this in? You know, is there gonna be money to take care of it? This would be the money to take care of, correct? Not only this, but the existing. Correct. I just really want to be clear because we are asking on what the purpose of this is.
I would think there would need to be a little bit of an increase. Having said that, we're in the process of running a bond. Not sure that, at least in part of our district. And, I'm not sure that we want to ask the taxpayer for the bond and then an increase on the levy as well. Not sure what kind of success we will have on that. But to Bob's point, everything is going up price wise, whether it's labor or material. So if we pass the same bond or the same levy rather, then basically getting less bang for a buck, it costs more to do stuff.
But if we increase it, we don't get it, then
We have zero. I think we'll have some savings. If we do get the bond, I think we're gonna have some savings on buildings. Costs, I mean, we're not gonna have boilers and stuff on this every year, because they'll all be replaced, so I think some of those costs should come down some with the bond. Agreed.
I would be 100% behind giving you guys money to repair your buildings. I mean, that's just, I've seen things get kind of put on, patched, abandoned. As a taxpayer, I would say, you know, you gotta have that money. And it does cost more now than it did back then. So as far as my taxes going up, we talked about the bond issue where I was at with that, but the levies, and you gotta have those levies, because that is how are really. Does anyone have a stupid question? No, that's a big yes on my thoughts on the reserves. But, and my other question is, how much of the elementary reserve are you able to use to help high school with the junior high going to the high school? Is that well, now we can use 1/3 of the cost of the high school from an elementary budget, or are we really? Where does that sit? How is that gonna affect us?
It's still a high school building. The levy won't go to the high school, even at the junior high.
I
Junior high,
understand what you're saying.
I follow your,
Because everything else is gonna have to be split. But I'm not positive on how the law works with the levy. I mean, it's still, the elementary levy is still to support those elementary kids.
Yes.
Those kids are going to the high school building. So,
But once they move over, they still elementary kid.
yeah, they're still K-8 kids, yeah.
Is it supporting what supports the kids, like teachers and the equipment they need and not building? Because they technically don't need an elementary building for those types of things.
That's what I'm not positive about.
But, so playing devil's advocate here, the high school students though are still only high school students from the outlier districts. Even if they're high school students from Deer Lodge or junior high kids from Deer Lodge, it's still Deer Lodge taxpayers that are covering both of those. It's not like the outlier schools are covering the elementary. It's only going to the high school building. I think that's how that works, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm not positive.
I think it swings easier that way than it does back. Because the Deer Lodge students that attend both schools are still the taxpayers of both schools. It's the high school students from the outliers that are only high school students.
Our elementary kids are gonna be using 2 of the bathrooms that are,
Correct.
they're only using, so they're gonna wear and tear on bathrooms, wear and tear on
They're using the building.
flooring, wear and tear on, heat, their classrooms, their, so it's.
Everything else is getting split. Yeah, at practice.
I mean, football field, we're all going both ways.
Yeah.
okay, so we have a motion, but now we have an amendment to set the amount. Or is that what we want to do?
I'm skeptical about raising it to the bottom, because the bottom sheet. It's asking a lot.
So if you don't raise it, it's just a continuation of what the taxpayers are already paying right now. The same amount.
It's every 5 years.
Yeah, and this one's the elementary one.
Can you run another one in a couple of years, or you gotta wait 5 years? If we don't raise it now, we find that it's not gonna cover. Can you raise it in a couple of years, you gotta wait 5 years?
That I'm not positive on either. I do know, yeah, I don't think we can, but I do know that previously, when we had a big project come up that we needed to fund, we got a Board of Investment loan and just used those proceeds from the following years to pay back that loan. So like we had a big project for 100,000 that we needed to do next year. We could borrow from the Board of Investment for the amount we needed and just pay it back the next year with some of the building reserve. Which is kind of backward. You don't want to do that either, but you ran into a spot where you had to do that.
When do we have to give notice on this? Okay, I guess one more crack at this. Since we need to know this now, the bond, we don't know till later. Say the bond doesn't pass. How do we buy and fix the boilers? We have to have.
That's why it's so important. Because if the bond doesn't pass, we have to figure stuff out.
And what we're doing, President, is not sustainable.
No.
We said at the same time, but Chris Baker was over here.
And if, you know, and I guess this is one of the things too, whether we pay for the boilers over however many years, with the loan, or pay for them by this, that's how that's gonna go. And then where does that additional money come from? Or the other everyday stuff.
I mean, that the bond passes, it's not like the new school shows up on Tuesday. Correct.
I mean,
And in this building, it's not just wood.
Correct.
Piping, all the things, all that, so. I know this is elementary, but, would have thought maybe that you take, raise this to cover the boilers, cover this building, and cover the bond.
Pretty.
Can you set maximum levy and then pull it back at the election?
Yeah.
Remember, we've done stuff like that before, haven't we? Said, well, we're gonna put this levy out there, but then we're not gonna levy that much if the bond passes. I mean, can that be something we put out and say, if the bond passes, we won't need to levy that much?
We do that on general fund levies. Usually during legislative years because we don't know the exact amount, but our ballots have to be certified by the end of this month. So it has to be set.
Tara, what are, in the 161 fund, what are we running for? I mean,
Depends on what's going on.
I'm looking, and maybe I didn't quite add it up right, but like, we're pushing $200,000 this year.
Well, and part of that though, in there is our safety transfers. You have to take that out of there. But yeah,
120,000.
I would say yes.
And if we don't, we're probably got 2 more years of running 120,000, even if the bond passes easily. So we're going to have to increase it, I guess is my point. It's not like we've got some magic CD somewhere.
Now, a lot of that is the CPC in the kitchen. I mean, that's where a lot of our.
But we're still looking, say bond passes, we're still looking at
Another year.
We got at least one more year.
Yeah.
I don't think, everything they've said, the bond passes, CPC will first priority, you know, this, I think will get done this year. From what I understand from Brad. While they're designing everything for the lunchroom and that next. So they would come in and they wouldn't wait and do the whole project at once. They would start on CPC and get it done. Maybe this summer.
If,
This is what Brad explained. We were talking.
and that fits a little bit with the costs we're in this building that we have, but we still have the kitchen that we have to live along till the lunchroom's really done.
Yeah.
How much carryover? I mean,
We've had a little bit.
because I know some of these, we can only put so much in our reserves.
Not with the building reserve.
I think you can carry it all.
So yeah, it's handy on those years where we don't have a bunch of problems because I can carry that over to the next.
So 600,000 would be out of the realm of needing.
No, it's just a matter if you want to
Push it
that
up.
up here too. That's all. Not quite double, but. And you have to remember, we're gonna talk about the high school next.
$5 years. Or 20,000.
You can do a shorter term too. You don't have to do the 5 years. That's just what we've done the last 11 years I've been here.
Can you do 3?
You do 3.
So by that time, we should have the school done, see where we're at, if the bond passes. If not, if we do a 5-year on this and it goes, and it's voted and it goes through, why we're waiting for because we're working on this first, say the kitchen does need some addressing or we need to transfer some stuff. That's where we can take out that loan and pay off because we have that money free sitting out there. Is that correct? So we can move it up a year instead of rolling it over.
375 won't even touch the cost this year. It's like $300. This building.
No, I'm just saying, in the meantime, say we have a backup in the kitchen and we need to replace. Do you understand? Can we move some of that forward? How is that possible? So if that's through the loan.
I'm just saying, there's never gonna be enough there to do this building here.
No, absolutely not.
I almost think we should revisit this every 3 years anyway. 5 years is a pretty long time. Things change.
The motion on the floor is to set amount. We need either need some kind of amendment for dollar amount and time.
I should add, I didn't clarify. This is the building reserve amount, but we do have permissive levies that go into the building reserve, and the state gives us the state major maintenance aid in that fund too. So that is, I can't remember what it was this year. I'll have to go back and look. But like you talked about the high school, I remember that one because we just talked about it. The high school will get 50,000 this year, which is a permissive levy. So we do get extra in our building reserve besides the 75,000.
I really think that fiscal responsibility on this should be that we can maintain and have a cushion. We do know that things are more expensive. I would like to see a 3-year, this is just my idea, 100,000. Split the difference. For the elementary. Thought before I say my
I like it.
That's where I was. Good for me.
Up at 100,000.
just, yeah, so, yeah, just $25,000 that we have that ability to rather help prepay on a thing in case we do have something that is a big ticket item. So that's my suggestion.
So it would be a $300,000 levy over 3 years, $100,000 per year. Correct.
I'll second that.
That motion.
That's motion.
Okay. It's been a,
This is great.
yep, this is.
High school.
Yep. Elementary only. The motion's been amended to set a levy for the amount of 100,000 for 3 years for building reserve. Is there any discussion to the amendment? Discussion, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign, motion carries. Next would be the high school.
The high school is basically gonna be your guys' discussion. The last couple times the high schools tried to run a building reserve levy, I believe it failed every time. This one is touchier. But we need something to keep up. these
What is it right now?
You don't have a voted levy.
It didn't pass the last. Oh, yeah, that's right.
So all you have going into there is your permissive levy that includes the state major maintenance aid, that's about 50,000.
It's hard because Avon, Helmville, all those guys, they're not gonna vote for a levy here because their kids don't come here. That's why it failed them. Right. I think last time that was north part of the county here. to vote. I don't know what to do about that. Your fault.
I will be a better spokesperson now that I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, that's all it's gonna take is really pushing it out there and why we need it. I mean, it is needed.
What was the last one that ran?
Doing, yeah, you remember?
I don't.
I
It was a tech levy.
The tech levy failed, yeah.
I think every levy, the last time failed. Yeah.
Maybe enough people in your eighth reading.
You don't want that.
I mean, we're sitting at 53,000.
And it's getting wiped out this year
Yeah,
because
for
we're paying for that.
$1,500.
Yeah. So there's gonna be nothing other than what we get every year.
Rex, Bart and I are getting pretty used to being a traveling show. We had no.
Yeah.
At that stage.
But, you know, we talked about core control being expensive. FICO that services our boilers, the high school is even more expensive than core control. So we could have a couple months where we have a couple problems and wipe it out again and we have nothing for anything else. And there are building stuff that needs to happen there. We have some problems. Again, that we're just pushing down the road because we don't have money for it.
Maybe a bond explains like that, and going towards the high school. I've been really good about. Well, we know that we need to have a building reserve there. I think the point of it is to ask for the voters and they have that, I agree. So it's, you know, up to say, yes, it's necessary to have that there, but it is up to the voters to and tell them we have enough. We've been going on. If the maintenance is your issues, so we don't have a future law or potential.
Well, one thing, if it doesn't pass, we're no worse than we are today.
We have to run, just to decide how.
Recommendations? The water principal one?
You know, I like what you did with the elementary one. And I'm more than happy to travel north, especially if you guys will come to me and they'll give us a stage, those places. We'll go, we'll just tell them what it is. Get beat up a little bit, that's fine. Get beat up before. But at least people will know and they'll know that it matters. You show up.
I think they appreciate it.
I'll look. If you, somebody makes a motion for 3 years.
Would it? Good to have, but well, not that they have to be the same. It's gonna affect the two. Running both the same 3 years at 100,000.
But there's some updates we need to do in that bill. Chris is quite capable, but we don't have the money to do it. I mean, even just the laundry facilities for our athletics, you know, it's just a disaster. We've done a lot of work in there so that at least our visiting teams don't come to your lodge, think, oh my goodness. Now, at least we were tidy and things functional, but still, we have to improve our laundry to do our kids' athletic uniforms. And that, there's not money on the table to do that right now, but we got to do those things. So we need a bond to pass. Enough on the levy. We need a bond to pass too.
And then the potential of a boiler issue, which could happen at any point, even if it is for maintenance.
They're 9 years old and they're problematic, unfortunately. But fair to say about FICO, they're expensive and we have a contract with them. They're kind of their baby, but also thank goodness for Chris, Bush and Ellie. They do a lot of long, but we need more than 50K. To keep our building with modern things that, modern, but we can flush out work in the building and you actually script floors and make it just pop. And if we want that building to shine and function properly so that our CHS kids or 7th, 8th graders love the building. don't quite have enough money to do that.
How about, what are the status of the handicap bathrooms and the divided gym? Are we good there? Or no? Do those need to be redone?
I mean, they all could use a remodel, but their functioning is out you're asking because there was the overflow, yeah. We
Yeah.
got that to be clear, we haven't cut it off.
Yeah, we had quite a jam. And there's the network of those pipes take bends that they should not take. So, between Chris and also Dave, he's really tidy, but I think top so our public goes in and tidy that.
Well, cleaning is one thing, but I want to make sure that we don't have that as a backup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
The floods down into our road. Floor. Third wheel.
that's just a matter of time. They're down in there, they can't be very well accessed.
Will, can you hear us?
I mean, 50-foot source, they don't get.
With Bart, I think we run it the same as we did this.
Will,
Yeah, hey Tara.
can you hear
Not very well.
us? Okay.
I hear you.
I'll make everyone talk loud.
No one else is talking. Can you
Is
hear
that a
them?
motion, Rex?
Yeah.
I move that we set the high school levy at 100,000 a year for 3 years.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Discussion, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Next is a notice of intent to raise non-voted levies.
Okay, so this is every year. If any of you remember, for the past several years, we have to post a notice by March 31st, saying if we have any estimated, if we know of any estimated increases in any of our permissive levies. Now, the funds that the permissive levies go into, as you can see, is high school, adult education, bus depreciation, transportation, tuition, and building reserve. These are permissive levies, not the voted levy that we just talked about. That's why on the first page, I don't have any increase for the high school building reserve. Because I don't estimate any increase in the permissive levy on that. It's gonna be about what it was last year. And then on the elementary, the only increase is the permissive levy on the building reserve. I am going to probably increase that, and it'll be that $9,427. So it's an estimated change in mills of 0.58, which is the estimated impact on a home of 100,000, 44-cent increase. On a home of 300,000, $1.32, and on a home of 600,000, $2.82. The reason why there's that increase is I haven't permissive levied the max every year. I've kind of only permissive levied part of it, but I think we need it. So, and we won't know, again, it's just an estimate. We won't know until budget time in August what it actually is. But this is just a notice I have to post.
That gets us to the maximum.
Yeah.
What we can do on
Permissive
permissive.
levy.
But for a $600,000 home, it's a $2.82.
Yeah.
A year. Okay.
Tuition. Because
I'm not foreseeing at this moment any increase. That
Okay.
doesn't mean that it won't increase, and it can't. This
Okay,
is just
so we
at
can set that in August at the
Yeah.
budget
Yeah,
hearing.
They get set in August. This is just at this time, you estimate an increase.
Is there a motion?
Move to increase the permissive levies for the elementary building reserve to 0.58 for the change in increase in mill.
Second that. We need to separately.
You just need to pass the notice is all.
Yeah.
What do we gotta do?
I move past the notice.
It's been moved and seconded to pass the notice of intent to raise non-voted levies. Is there any discussion? Discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign, motion carries. Next is the renewal of tenured certified staff.
You have this before you, the tenured certified staff, my recommendation is for you to approve their rehire.
Without objection, can we do as a group?
So moved.
Been moved and seconded to hire the tenured certified staff. Is there any comment? See none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign, motion carried. Next is renewal of staff up for tenure.
My recommendation for certified staff for tenure, Nolan Boyle, Holly Sheldon, and Miranda McNally. You might want to take those individually.
We will take that, yes, because they're up for tenure. We'll take them individually. Start with Nolan Boyle.
I moved to hire Nolan Boyle, tenure staff.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to hire Nolan Boyle as a tenured staff. Is there any comment? Comment? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next would be Holly Sheldon.
Move will be hire Holly Sheldon, certified staff.
Been moved and seconded to hire Holly Sheldon for certified staff up for tenure. Is there any comment? Comment? Seeing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is Miranda Bignell.
I move to hire Miranda Bignell for certified staff up for tenure.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to hire Miranda Bignell, certified staff for tenure. Is there any comment? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next would be the non-tenured certified staff.
My recommendation is for you to rehire the non-tenured certified staff listed before you.
I move that we hired non-tenured certified staff.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to hire the non-tenured certified staff in the list. Is there any discussion? Discussion, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is certified, tenure certified staff that will require a roll call vote. First would be Laurel Smith.
I move to hire Laurel.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to hire Laurel Smith as a tenured certified staff. Is there any comments? We'll go with a roll call vote. Trustee Anderson.
Aye.
Trustee Rabel.
Aye.
Trustee Applegate.
Aye.
Trustee Clark.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Abstain.
Trustee Merrill.
Aye.
Trustee Nicholson.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Motion carries. Oh, Trustee Gravely
Aye.
passes. Next would be certified tenured Casey Perkins.
I move to hire certified staff Casey Perkins. I'll second that.
Then moved and seconded. Is there any comments? We'll go to a roll call vote. Trustee Anderson.
Aye.
Trustee Rabel.
Aye.
Trustee Applegate.
Aye.
Trustee Clark.
Aye.
Trustee Gravely.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Merrill.
Aye.
Trustee Nicholson.
Aye.
I abstain. Motion carries. Next is non-renewal of non-tenured certified staff.
I have two people I will not be recommending for renewal without cause. First person, Aaron Good. Move to accept your recommendation.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the recommendation of non-renewal of non-tenured staff. The motion has been made and seconded. This item on the agenda pertains to the non-renewal of a non-tenured teacher. Recommendations are made by the superintendent and the board can accept or reject those recommendations in its sole discretion. Because the recommendation is made pursuant to section 20-4-206 of the Montana Code, there is no issue with the staff member's performance, and we will not be entertaining public comment or board comment that discuss this staff member's performance. Comment is limited to the motion itself, and all parties should remember that the staff member maintains a right to privacy. In addition, you cannot make comments about other staff members at this time. Is there any comments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries.
My second recommendation for non-renewal, of non-tenured certified staff without cause, Courtney Rush.
It's been moved and seconded for the non-renewal of a non-tenured certified staff. This item again is on the non-renewal of a non-tenured teacher. It's made by the superintendent. The board can accept or reject. It was made because the recommendation is pursuant to section 20-4-206 of the Montana Code. There is no issue with the staff member's performance, and we will not be entertaining public comment or board comment that discusses this staff member's performance. Comment is limited to the motion itself, and all parties should remember that the staff member maintains a right to privacy. In addition, you cannot make comments about other staff members at this time. Is there any comments?
I just wanted to let you guys know that I did let my kids know today about that this would be coming your way. And they asked that I submit letters that they had written to you guys. I did not ask them to do that. They took it upon themselves. I also wanted to take a minute to officially thank the board and Mr. Chrisman and Mrs. Burton for allowing me the opportunity to complete my student teaching.
Is there any other comments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Next is principal's report.
We have been working with Wade Harper, our school site for K through 8. We're running low on time, 2.5 months of trying to get kids evaluated that we've kind of been talking about. So we made a kind of a triage list. We put that together, trying to just make sure that we get as much time in. Once we get a consent to test, we've got 60 days to get that done and then hold a meeting and then be able to set an IEP if a student qualifies. So when we're looking at 2.5 months left, it doesn't allow for a whole lot of time. So we're trying to just get a lot of that stuff done so that we're within our appropriate window. Kinder Roundup, that's kind of the big thing coming at the end of this month. And it is going to be significant for next year. Just as we look at the numbers, just to give you an idea, K6 numbers for next year, right now, we've got about 20 kiddos right now signed up for our kindergarten roundup. We have 3, I think, in the preschool program that will join kindergarten next year. And we are looking at probably 3 to 4 possible red shirts, which would keep them in kindergarten. So the rough estimated number for next year's kindergarten class is 27. Next year, so kindergarten to first grade for next year, that number is looking at 35. Second grade for next year, 40. Third grade for next year, 43. Fourth grade for next year, 38. Fifth grade for next year, 46. Sixth grade, 33, for a total of 262 estimated for next year's K6. So as a board, you made a decision to move forward and look at separating 7th and 8th grade. You looked at eliminating an administrator. All of those, I believe, were the right move for this district. If you're looking at 262 kindergarten through 6th grades, and you're paying 3 full-time administrators for high school, junior high, and elementary, you made the right decision. Last statement that I want to make, I truly appreciate your early retirement incentive offer. I do, however, want to make a statement in regards to this offer not being made and available to all staff. As a 21-year administrator in this district who has had my salary frozen several times, not once did a teacher stand before you and say, that's not fair. I didn't get my way. Nobody stood up and said, give an administrator their raise. Not only that, this year my salary was frozen and elementary teachers took an $8,000 to $10,000 increase because of the joint combined salary. And nobody again stood up and said, what about the administrators? The only way for me in preparing for my retirement was to stand and make a decision for myself and for my family to put forward my 2-year notice so that I could at least guarantee myself 2 raises for the last 2 years of my time in school district number 1 to add to my retirement. And so if there's any question whatsoever about the difference between an administrator contract in this district and a teacher contract, that's my explanation.
Next principal.
Our enrollment is holding steady at 153. We have 3 homeschool students playing sports. I just wanted to let you know we have 4 soon to be they call them pre-service teachers, not student teachers, pre-service teachers in our building right now that are observing our excellent staff at the high school. And it's been a pretty cool experience, and it's a little way for us to do some possible recruiting too. So we have ag, science, social studies, and art pre-service teachers in our building. They're just here. We had dinner with them tonight, but we have an enjoyable engagement instead, and so I wasn't able to go to that. But Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week. Pulled our core values out of our strategic plan, and I just wanted to highlight a couple of them that our kids are really excelling on right now. For the student success part, last month I gave you guys some quantifiable data, and this month I want to give you some anecdotal data. So we got a letter from the Thespian Festival, which our newly created drama club went to this year, and they actually took the time to write us a letter and tell us how amazing our kids presented themselves at this festival. They were kind and they were helping others, and it was really nice to read that letter. I also got an email after the divisional tournament letting me know that our kids were not only respectful, but that their school spirit was infectious. And then our sports season this year, I was really proud of our student section. They did a really good job. There were some kind of gnarly cheering sections from other schools, and our kids didn't always rise to the bait. Once or twice they might have, but they kept themselves in really good check, just kind of a line of sight for me with all that was necessary. And they just did a phenomenal job this year. And our cheerleaders were so good. They just got those kids just wound up. It was fantastic. So those are just some things that our kids are doing anecdotally. Then I wanted to talk about our adopted freshmen. Because of the 7th and 8th graders moving up, I was planning to not do that anymore. And our 8th graders pitched a fit when I said that. And they really wanted to have another round of adopted freshmen, and our upperclassmen agreed. So we will be doing adopted freshmen again next year. And it's fun when that comes from the kids. So that's my student success. Our alignment of resources, our PLCs are working almost exclusively right now on pacing guides. The state is really pushing us towards that for accreditation. So our teachers are doing some really phenomenal work. Our English department has been working for several years on this, and they are leaps and bounds ahead of where a lot of districts are. So I'm just really proud of that. And then probably Shelley will talk about this more, but for community and parent engagement, our PAC is working on our discipline matrix, and our student council is looking at it tomorrow. So they're going to give us a little bit of feedback on that, and we are planning another event. That's all I have. Yeah.
What's a pacing guide?
Oh, that's a great question. So pacing guide is essentially like week 1 of quarter 1, this is what we're working on. And so it's like if we have 2 different teachers that are teaching the same class, they stay on pace with each other so that kids are learning the same things at the same time. And the the state has really been pushing that in our accreditation process, that we have, because we're required to have a curriculum, which we do through Golden Triangle, but they don't have pacing guides in there, so we're working on that ourselves in our field.
Good, thank you.
On the enrollment and the 3 homeschool playing sports, what does that look like in terms of A and B?
We get some, I don't know what the percentage is, but how it works is we run all of our reports through Infinite Campus, which is our student information system. So I create a separate calendar and put those 3 kids in there so that when I'm running reports, those kids are included in there for A and B, and it's not a full A and B, you know, Tara.
I don't remember exactly what it is, but they don't calculate, they calculate it separately, so they don't do it during count day with all the other A and B, they do it at the end of the school year. And then OPI will add it up and they'll have it on our final budget that we get in August.
Was that our winners? Sorry.
Let's see, fall, we had all 3 fall. We had 2 for winter, and I don't know about spring yet, I haven't looked at the rosters, but 2, yeah.
Enrollment wise for the junior high, we are holding steady. We've had a few homeschoolers start within that, so that's an adjustment, but good. And like Katie said, on our long range strategic plan, or actually your long range strategic plan, we are working on the district wide behavior matrix. Our student council will also be taking a look at that this week and giving us some feedback on that. And then I imagine it will go to some of our staff and teachers as well. And then our family engagement event, we're doing some kind of literacy with gardening. So we don't have, because we don't have an entire plan fleshed out, but we've got some ideas to grow. And testing wise, Mass Window 2 closed on, I think, the 6th, right? And Mass Window 3 opens on the 20th. So we're testing. The science test opens this week, and Sean has done a great job of helping us work through some glitches with the tech business. And that is our science test that 5th and 8th graders take. We have from now till the end of May to get that done. And then our special ed teachers are doing the alternate test. And the second window of that has been opened. I think it started. Yeah, so it's now through the end of May. So we've got lots and lots of testing things going on, and just kind of plugging away with that. Student council is finishing up ski trips Thursday. That was their last one. They're planning a spring fling dance, and so more details on that to come. And I'm sure we'll have to do something with chaperones and volunteers now. So that'll be kind of a good first rodeo for that. And then we'll be looking at the 8th grade stuff at the end of the year, so it's flying by from here to the end.
Yeah, I hope they saw all the poster boards and against the wall when they came in. We have 2 copies of those from A, Architect and Bozeman, and so I intend to leave these out here in Highgate location. Some of the people that we have been presenting to over these last few months have been starting to trickle and see those, and I think they speak volumes. I really like the first one because it shows where every dollar is supposed to go through the bond. So but I have a second set of those, and so as I mentioned with the committee that I was working on, and I'm going to go on a traveling show and take the poster board with me and the easel, so I don't have to have any computer, I don't have to have a projector, I don't have to have anything but those and an easel and be up there talking to groups. So I intend to have this at at luncheon, senior center, and any other place. And so if you guys have thoughts, groups of people that like a presentation, I'll happily present the Rotary again. So anything comes to mind, or if you want to go with sometime, we've got a slightly less than a month, the traveling show. So I enjoy it. And even sometimes we like good barbecue, but that's part of the process, right? People just want to know. And I saw, well, there was one person come to me and totally took care of that. I really appreciate that. One of the other things that Annie does for us is the trifold mailers, and they have those all put together. And unfortunately, we're gonna be able to use one of our local taxpayers as printing service in town to print those trifolds to get out in the mail. And then, 2 weeks ago today, there was the chamber dinner, myself and another person was invited to come and present to the chamber dinner. And, all day long on Tuesday, I felt poorly. I don't want to give you too much information here, but I was in pain. And so Chris Frankham is CNA, and he kept talking to me and asking me about my symptoms, and he said, we're going to the hospital, and I'm pretty sure about that. I said, no, we're not. You're not big enough to do it. I'm scared of God. So I didn't go. And I could not present that night. I was in bad shape. I just didn't want to admit it to myself. So anyways, Chris, we've done the routine a few times. Chris went and presented to the chamber, and by all accounts, he did an awesome job. Some of those people have come and gone down and looked at the dungeon now, and they're on board with our problem. So however they vote's up to them, but at least they know our problem. And so I really appreciate Chris for another pinch hit for me. And in my defense, he did say, you know, Mr. G doesn't take sick days, but he's taking a sick man now. And so I just appreciated his pinch hitting for me. And so ultimately, the moral of that story is that the next day, Leanne went in the mom on the hands on the hip and said, you're going to the hospital. So I got there. Been on a tour of the hospital, but this time I was admitted. And I don't think I've had a primary healthcare professional since I was a child. I have enjoyed good health. I don't know, for whatever reason, diet, team cool, but I've not had a primary care physician. But my knuckles hurt recently. The last few months, I went and saw a PCHS graduate, fellow by the name of Pat Weber. Right. And I'm a Pat Weber fan. Yeah. And anyways, so I had seen him a week earlier from my knuckles, and he said, it's good you're not the trades anymore. But then when Leanne insisted I go over there, he spent about 30 seconds with me. He said, you're in the wrong room. Took me to the ER, and then I met up with Dr. Johnson, who's another awesome. It's amazing. I'm the new guy in town. That facility in this town is something like, wow. Yeah. And anyways, Dr. Johnson, he just took a look at me, took my symptoms, says, I know your problems. He was right. However, I had nothing else that made me right. And then he went off shift by the time I got the MRI doctor. He said that my lungs were full of blood clots. So I got a trip in an ambulance, which I didn't mind that so much, except for they refused to let me drive. And I really didn't stand on it. And the nurse said, said, let me drive. So I spent a few days over at Community Medical Center. So I still have some issues I'm dealing with. They don't know what caused that. So but I'm on the mend, and I'm very thankful. The awesome professional group that's over here taking care of me. So I did apologize when I went for a checkup here recently with Dr. Pat. I said, you know, everybody's asking me who my primary care physician is, and I apologize, but I picked you because I didn't have anybody else. So he accepted to be my doctor. So I told him that as long as he's practicing when I retire, I'll still come over for awesome care at that facility. So that's enough about me.
Thank you, Leanne.
You wouldn't think it, but that wisp of a woman can look real mad. And when she starts doing this thing, it gets your butt moved. And I did. High school atrium, it's a little cordoned off yet. There's been a lot of progress. When the last of the materials you have to arrive, we might get the interior doors to come in and maybe put in as early as next week. And then it'll all be functional again. And when you get a chance to go in there, which you will, I would like to make special note of the glass that this is just to be all the stopped in, non-functioning, not over top of any operation. Look at the schedule of the aluminum framing that was built with compared to what it's built with now. It's awesome. So I hope that this is a very long-term solution. And when it's fully functional again, something that the community can be proud of, and something our kids, most importantly, will be proud of. Last thing I wanted to say was segue into what Katie was talking about with these MSU students. So last fall, student teacher placement director sent an email out to, I think, an awful lot of schools around the state. And of course, we're a little closer to the University of Montana, but instead of emailing that I think when I interviewed, I said, I don't like email communication. I want to talk to you. I want to broker deal. What do we got to do? So I called him and I said, I'm interested. And I said, a lot of people ask me, what are my thoughts about Deer Lodge, and anybody has their own thoughts. The one thing I remain really constant is I won't get this faculty against any other faculty I've ever served. We have an awesome faculty here. And so I said that to that guy. And I said, I know we're probably in the University of Montana wheelhouse and we probably would appreciate a little approachment. But I said, I'll take all you have. I would like those kids from Montana State to come to Deer Lodge to see what we got rolling here. We have all manner of different, students of different abilities and different home lives and all that. You'll see how men and women, new teachers, experienced teachers manage kids. That's just, if you want an immersion, this is a great place to get immersed in. And so how many showed up? Four. And so those kids, one thing is also an issue too, right? Maybe they come here to Allen County High School, it's nice. And so otherwise they never would step in our building. But we've established a relationship now with MSU, and I think they're going to try to do this frequently. And for them to visit 2 weeks.
3 days.
3 days. Well, originally they talked for 2 weeks, but that gets expensive for a kid. So anyways, it's pretty nice having the Montana State educational community in our house. That's all I have.
Okay, next is the business manager.
Who's on our finance committee again?
Will, Rex, and myself.
Can we meet next week? I can't meet.
48 hours after
The following 2 weeks, I am unavailable.
No. I could probably have something ready on Thursday. Can you do Thursday? Can't have anything ready by tomorrow.
I do Thursday.
I mean, we can wait.
I can do Thursday.
We can wait until you're back. That's fine.
I'm talking about what the advertising looks like.
No,
We need to talk.
no, it's a finance.
No,
committee.
finance committee.
I'm the one tracking.
Okay, so let's keep in contact and we'll get
There you
it together. Okay,
I will have a better idea at the start of next week what it's gonna look like.
okay, sounds good. Your books are updated. What kind of in the same rail of what we're talking about? Yesterday, we had a health insurance committee meeting. Morgan is going to send our stuff out to get quotes, but he's feeling probably it'll be a 5% increase on health insurance this year. The reason I want to give you this info, and it's more info that I'll be discussing with the finance committee, but I'm giving it to all of you right now. This first sheet just gives a breakdown of what we're paying for health benefits for the entire district. I've said it, yeah. I've said it for the last 2 years after we unified that it really killed the elementary. And I just want you guys to see the numbers again, just so you're clear at where we're sitting at once we go into the finance committee meeting and once we go into negotiations. I did tell the health insurance committee yesterday, which is comprised of multiple teachers, kitchen, secretary, admin, that I will be suggesting that we do something different with health insurance. Because we just can't sustain it the way it's going. As Bart just mentioned, it's almost $1 million that we're spending on health benefits. So the other thing I want to bring up, I did get prelim budget numbers. Just to explain again, school funding, because it can be very confusing. The state gives us an inflation increase every year. That's because our costs go up. We have 2 bargaining units who have steps and lanes. Those are automatic increases every year that we have to pay for. So operating on the same budget from the previous year doesn't really work, right? Because you have those increases. The state gives us an inflation increase. Unfortunately, when you get that inflation increase, but you also have a student decline, you're not getting as much money as you would have gotten if your student numbers stayed the same. So that's why when we discuss it and I say we're going to lose this amount of money, it's that extra money that we would have gotten the next year. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to go into your next year and see that our funding numbers are about the same, right? How are we going to pay for those increases that we have? Our elementary, the elementary compared to this year, our next year's budget has a $1,167 increase. So that's not good, right?
Income increase, not expenditure.
No, income. So our expenditures increase way more than that, right? But our funding is only $1,000 more. The high school has an $8,000 increase from this year. So again, just those are things that we'll discuss with the finance committee, but just so everyone here is also aware, that's why we're having these discussions. Our funding is not where we need it to be. There's also a million different moving parts. So we have a teacher or a principal who is retiring early. We'll save on his salary, right? But then we have our 7th and 8th grade that's going to the high school. And part of that high school principal salary now needs to come out of the elementary. We also have another retirement bonus next year that has to come out of the elementary. And we have teachers who have left that we aren't replacing. But I mean, there's just a million different moving parts. So that's why finance committee will sit down. I'll have budget line items. We can look at it and see exactly where we're at and make some plans there. There's a lot.
That's one of the athletic director.
No.
I see from the school board association, is their state insurance available now? Got one email or is it?
The Bridge Health Alliance, we did talk to that with our broker about that. I've talked to him previously and he talked to us about it yesterday. In short, they are trying to quickly throw something together and you can't even get firm language or contracts or anything from them to really know what you're signing. So it was all of our opinion that we can look at it again down the road, but this first year, it would not be a wise decision.
Anything else, Sarah?
Not that I can think of. So your building reserve levies will be on the May ballot. We have 2 elections coming up, April 7th and May 5th, I think.
Claims committee had time to review the claims.
But it,
I move that we accept the claims.
We'll move in second to approve the claims. Is there any discussion?
We only took an hour. 7 hour and a half.
I see there was only 102,000.
Yeah, it's not bad to have.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is future agenda items.
That was a look.
There's a lot. The athletic director.
Yeah. If you don't balls, if you put me, I'll be ready.
You get paid that way.
When do we get the results back?
On.
Give that, I have to go down state of court.
So I guess you guys have a couple more.
We'll probably be discussing something there at school.
Yeah, so we'll have the canvas thing of the vote. We'll have to do
We'll have to
that
canvas and vote at that meeting.
at that meeting.
Is there anything else? We are adjourned.
We're set.